Hello everyone, I'm Ian Dembling with ESA TV, talking to our amazing exhibitors at ESA Con 21 in beautiful Phoenix, Arizona. We are back here in person and we're talking about battery storage right now with Hanan Fishman with Alencon Systems. Hanan, how you doing today?
I'm doing great, Ian. Thanks so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely. So now I know that you want to talk about those DC-DC energy converters, and talk to me about why those are so important for battery storage.
Well, that's a really good question, Ian. So right now we are undergoing nothing short of what I would call a really significant paradigm in really energy distribution. Of course, energy storage is part of that. So batteries are a DC source and a DC load. Of course, we have two types of electricity. We have DC and AC. So what a DC-DC converter does is it manipulates the voltage of one DC-DC source or load, like a battery, to allow it to match another DC source or load, like, for example, solar energy, or a different inverter, a different grid connection, hydrogen fuel cells, even potentially electric vehicles. So the point of the story is that, for literally over 100 years, power conversion has been all about converting from DC to AC. So now, as we really accelerate this new energy revolution, and we're looking to combine more DC sources and loads like solar, battery energy storage, electric vehicles, and fuel cells, there's a really great impetus not to have to leave the DC world to have all of those things talk to one another. And so that's really what the role of the DC-DC converter is all about, is it allows all of those different elements to speak the same level of voltage without having to leave the world of DC into AC to have that discussion in a safe and productive way.
It's really great that we're moving forward like that. And now I know at a lot of these shows, it's really great to be able to see some of these products in person. And Alencon didn't just bring one, you brought two DC-DC converters to showcase with us. So why don't we take a look at those?
Sure, absolutely. Where should we start?
Let's go ahead and start right here at this first one.
Great. So this is a device we call our Spot. The Spot is what we would call a unidirectional DC-DC converter. So this is going to be used anytime you have a unidirectional power flow. So the most common application of this particular product is to combine solar with battery energy storage. So what you'll see from these connectors, solar strings, which are basically a number of solar panels in series, will connect into the device here. On its output, the device will connect to a DC bus, and what this device is literally doing is it's harvesting the maximum amount of power from solar panels and then converting its output voltage into a level of voltage that can appropriately charge the battery that's connected to it. So in this case, power is only ever flowing one direction from a source like a solar panel to a load like a DC battery.
Now, of course, sometimes unilateral isn't the right way to go, so tell me a little bit about this second one right here.
Sure. So this device we call the BOSS, which stands for the Bidirectional Optimizer for Solar and Storage. So this is a device that will typically sit between a battery and a DC bus or a DC source or load. And what this will allow to occur is to charge and discharge the battery. So if you think about the Spot as effectively a one-way DC street, this is effectively a two-way DC street, still doing the same sort of function, which is mapping voltage from the source to the load, but in this case, giving the ability to go back and forth to both charge and discharge a battery when you need to manipulate the level of voltage coming out of the battery into a DC bus or some other load.
Absolutely, and Hanan and Alencon Systems will be here through all of ESA Con 21 to be able to talk to any of our attendees who want to learn a little bit more about this. You can learn more about all of the great products and services that are here at ESA Con 21 by visiting our website at energystorage.org. For now, for ESA TV, I'm Ian Dembling. Thank you so much for watching.